Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you're going to meet a very successful business consultant, and he's going to talk about the strategies to create value. His journey just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, as an entrepreneur, I'm always fascinated about companies as they're growing. Sometimes they get stuck. They're treading water, and then they hit another level. And sometimes it takes a successful business coach to come in and show the CEO or C-suite their blind spots. Somebody who knows a lot about that, Mike Topa. He is the founder of MTM Global. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm fascinated by people's stories. How did you get into this?
Actually, I was leading a local investment with a group out of Australia. We sold that off to another group out of out of Pennsylvania, into a larger platform that they had built, and rolled that up and ended up selling that off to Sikorsky. And at the time, I found myself looking for a new opportunity, and a former employee called me up and said, "Mike, I understand that you're not actively involved anymore. I've got a friend with some problems that owns 3 different businesses. Would you mind visiting him and talking to him?" And I did. We looked at his businesses, had lunch at one of them, had dinner at one of them, where we looked at them and I said, "This one is your baby, you grew it. You know what to do with this? Yeah, I've got a good vision." I said, "The one we're sitting in, probably is not going to survive. Why don't we get out of that, avoid the cash flow? This other one, I already know the business really well. Let me go meet with your president." We did, and ended up mentoring him and getting it profitable quickly. Put in permanent processes to assure that, and then literally went around with him and did marketing. We really did truly dumpster diving to find work.
Yes.
True story. And stayed with them for about 9 months. I got it set off to a very profitable arrangement. And the good thing was all the fees I generated came out of the profits, additional profits we earned.
Wow, that's wonderful. Well, I got to tell you, Mike paid me the ultimate compliment as I was giving him a tour of our studios. He says, "Man, you love this. I can just feel your energy." How important is a CEO's energy to whether or not their concept is going to, continue to grow?
It's paramount, because as business owners, it's a lonely place. I'm sure you've experienced that early in 08 when you got started. And you need that energy, and most importantly, you need that engagement to your vision. You can't just be a business owner that, as I say, it just needs it because they have a boathouse or something else. They're really all in on our business. That's what drives them every day.
Sure. I was so impressed when I went on Mike's website, and let's pull it up now. You have experience in a lot of different industries, and as I look at that, that's amazing. Tell me about your background, and how did you get so much knowledge in such a diverse number of fields?
Well, that was led by 2 things. One is I grew up into the CFO world through accounting, and I got into accounting because it helped me understand business. It wasn't about the general ledger, the debits and credits. It was that's the window to look into business. And so as I grew out of that by walking around in that first investment I told you and learning that business, because I became the president, had been invited to other investments with private equity in those different industries, and then it's given me a base to then branch out even further, because a lot of the fundamentals of business don't change between industries.
Sure.
They really don't. It's around cash, it's around customers, it's around strategy.
Wow. And can you typically, when you come in to coach, are there some obvious places where there would be problems? Are there some places where you look first?
Yeah, always we go and look at what the balance sheet. So every business lives off the working capital of the business. And we also zero in, we call the middle of the income statement. Where are you making money? and then we can look at the operating expenses, and then we'll drill down even further into the operational side of what is affecting that.
And are sometimes owners and CEOs surprised when you say, okay, this thing that you think is making you money is actually costing you money? Have you had that circumstance?
I would say that's been consistent.
Yeah.
Largely because we can bring analytical skills and a devotion to looking at this that a business owner doesn't have time for and often doesn't have the skills on staff to do. We have surprised a lot of business owners that have been working there for a long time, and we'll come in and say, this is really where you're generating money and you really want to get away from this.
Wow. I want to talk about your coaching style, and as we do that, we're going to pull up some video from our video library. Nobody likes to be told that their baby is ugly. so when you come into a business for the first time, I mean, as a CEO and owner myself, sometimes the CEO's ego can be fragile. So tell us about your coaching style. How do you lovingly tell a CEO that their baby might need, not ugly, but need some rouge on their cheeks?
You've nailed it. You really have nailed it. It's a couple approaches. Number one, you need to become their trusted advisor. You need to be the one that they know that your interests are only theirs. You don't have a personal interest. You're not trying to get a job. You only want them to be successful. And once you have that kind of credibility, we go number two with data. So that you're talking about, I always like to say, the problem is in the middle of the table. It's not about you or what you've done. We also say we take the rearview mirror away. We're not really caring about what you did in the past or why you did that in the past. We need to create value here. We need to solve your problem. And now we've got a definition of the problem, we understand the problem. And if you are the engaged, energetic business owner, you're going to buy into that. You're going to get excited about doing that.
Sure. We talk a lot about generations in the workplace these days, and I'm a baby boomer. I'm the tail end of the baby boomers.
Me too.
And these days we have these Gen Zs, and soon we'll have alphas, and their mindset is different than the boomers, isn't it? I mean, my generation was, hey, life is not a bowl of cherries, kid. Suck it up. Pay your dues.
Right.
And the Gen Zs are basically, okay, when do I get a seat at the boardroom table?
Yes. It does make it difficult. Fortunately, most of the business owners I work are in that older group, but you have to work with their people who are going to be in those different generations. And I have 3 of my own, so I have a little insight when I talk to them at night and talk about their jobs. You get a little insight. But at the end of the day, they want to feel engaged and they want to see where their growth is going to be. And I believe if you're coaching, mentoring, and they feel that you really believe in where they're going and you're showing them a path there, that helps a lot. And we have to turn off our own biases where we felt it was just nose to the grindstone and I'll be rewarded when someone thinks I did a good job.
Mike, how does one know when they need a guy like you to come in and look under the hood?
Probably most companies need that because the typical business has grown up and the people have grown up with it. They're loyal, they're committed, but their skill sets haven't grown with them because they keep doing the same job. An advantage of somebody with MTM Global is we've seen a lot. And we can come in and help and understand. Now, if you're generating the profits, your bank is happy, your customers are happy, we probably can't add a lot of value.
Sure.
But I'm sure at some point, or just, am I doing things the right way? Is there a better way to do it? And I'm not talking just necessarily from technology.
Sure.
And maybe take away some of those blinders, or where as a business owner that you love, like you love in all of these things, but there's back office things, there are other things that be impacting your business. Maybe we can offer some insight into that.
And do you ever have a situation where you have to, in a polite way, tell the owner that they need to kind of fire themselves as CEO and have somebody else kind of run the thing, or give another person another name, but the CEO is the problem?
Actually, that's a very true story that happened. We went into a very small company that the bank had turned and said, can you go help them? And when we went in and we were able, as we talked earlier, we pulled down their data, did a lot of analytics and went, this is really a problem. Went back and did a little more research and all of those problems flowed to the corner office. So when they asked for a presentation, probably not a good thing to say publicly, but we literally said, company will not survive with you here.
Wow.
And said, we can take it on an intern and maybe have it survive, but the way you're treating this, it will not survive. We can't change anything.
Wow.
to fix it. So, but that's very, very rare.
And I like that, Mike. It speaks to your integrity. I mean, they're bringing you in for your expertise and not just to tell them what they want to hear. So,
Yes.
congratulations on that. We're almost out of time. So, any final thoughts? What would you like to leave the viewer with?
It's a lonely world, and I have been a business owner. I think that's the distinctions. I have been a business owner. I have been the president. I've been up there, and having that trusted advisor, someone that you can talk to and talk through these issues, is helpful. It really is, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's a fee-generated issue, but it is something to be aware of.
Outstanding. You've been an amazing guest. We're going to end with a website, which is mtmglobal.net. The great Mike Topa. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.